So today we'll talk about business requirement document, BRD. This is what, as a business analyst, at the end of the day, you have to prepare. Okay. First, you have to gather requirements, analyze requirements, feasibility checks, finding out the right SDLC. Okay, for which project, what project, depending on the type of the project, cost of the project. Either you want to go with agile or you want to go with normal SDLC process. Okay, and then collect requirements by using variety of methods like Masco technique, Zachman method, okay, and JAD sessions, gap analysis, interviewing concepts, questionnaire, brainstorming. What are all these things? By using all these things, by using all these techniques and methods, we gather the requirements. Okay, and then feasibility checkups is done. And then once the requirements are gathered, we prepare some documents like use case documents, and we also drawn some diagrams, right? Use case diagram, wireframes, workflows. So at the end of the day, we have to put all these stuff, whatever we did till now, in a document that is known as business requirement document. Business requirement document consists of functional, non-functional, system and data requirements. Okay, combination of all the requirements, wherein functional requirements are gathered by functional BM, system requirements are gathered by systems analyst, data requirements are gathered by data analyst, data flow diagrams are drawn by data analyst, system flow diagrams are designed by systems analyst, flow charts, workflows, wireframes, use case documents, use case scenarios, use case diagrams, these all should be drawn by hippo charts. Okay, these all should be drawn by functional business analyst. Clear? So now at the end of the day, we have to put all these things in one document that is known as business requirement document. So this is a sample document. Okay, this document will give you a clear understanding. It will show you the clear structure. So how to design a document, what are the what information you have to insert this, what information you have to put inside this document. Okay, remember one thing, no one will ask you to design a template. Got it? No one will ask you to put a logo here, write the name here and all these things. Every organization, they have their own designed templates. Template means, you know, right? It's a designed one, already designed template. Either you take use case document also, design template. Okay, so inside that you have to fill the data. Like here you can see company logo, project. So you have to write the project name here. That's it. It is not that you have to write everything. So you're not. Many 99% of the organizations, they will not ask BA to design a template. Why? Because they follow some standards. They have some specific designs, like they will be having specific watermarks. Okay, some logo, some symbol, some security, some standards. As I said, like they will go with only black color, they will go with only so and so font, they will go with only so and so font size. Correct? So like this, every organization, they have their own predefined templates. In that we have to fill the data. That's it. Okay, that's fine. So let's see here. It's a British Columbia project. Project name you have to write here, and let's scroll down. Just a second. You can see prepared by. You write your name because you are going to put the data inside this, right? Author, you are an author here. Prepared for whom you are preparing? For technical people, for clients, right? For both of them, you just mention their details here. Date submitted, when you submit this document. Project sponsorer, who is going to sponsor this project? Okay, product owner or any financial manager, okay, client side person. Client accepted, yes. At the end of the day, someone should accept your document. Am I right? I mean, see, you design this document, you have to show this document to client at the end of the day. Client will check the document, like, I mean, verify the document, like, so whatever the requirements client gave you, so did you put all the documents in this document, all the requirements in this document or not? Okay, client acceptance. Project manager, then your manager name. Document number, it will be some default number, okay, no need to worry about it. And version, coming to version, it's very important to know. The version number here is 0.1. 0.1 means it's a first model, correct? If I say 0.2 or 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, then you have to assume that already 0.1 was there, already 0.2 was there, correct? So by looking at the version only, you can say this is the first new project. I mean, it's a prototype model, it's a brand new project, or it is an existing application, like from old version to new version, iPhone 4S to 5S, 5S to 5C, like this. Okay, so version, very important, you have to remember. Not only for this document, everywhere. Okay, you see this version name. So when I say iPhone 6, so you have to assume that already there was something like 5 and 4 and 3, correct? Otherwise, why they put as 6 here? Something was there earlier, correct? So like this, you have to understand. Okay, that's fine. Last updated, June 6, 2006, creation date. So they created, they didn't updated it. I mean, the project was, that's it. Up to that extent they did and they stopped it. No further extensions happened, no further additions, no further subtractions, no further modifications. Okay, nothing happened. That's it. We don't know, maybe they had done later, okay, but when we got this document, it wasn't done. Now let's look into table of contents. So we discussed earlier that when we are talking about 3D model, business requirement document structure, we talked about business document, business PRD structure, right? You remember that, the triangle one? So there I told you that document is divided into two parts, high level and detail level. Okay, high level document means it consists of introduction, okay, table of contents and blah blah, purpose of the document, purpose of the project, objective, scope, right? This all comes under high level. Like you can see here, introduction and scope, requirements 1 and 2. You can see 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2 are high level, and the detail level means from 3, like functional requirements, data requirements, non-functional requirements, system requirements, whatever it is. Okay, so what do you mean by high level requirements here? High level requirements doesn't specifies any requirements. Okay, I mean, high level document explains about the document, explains about the project. Like, let's see here, introduction, document purpose, first one. Okay, what is the purpose of this document? What you have to write here, the purpose of the document. This document is for so and so project, and this document is designed for so and so people. Okay, so in this document you have so and so data, correct? Purpose, what is the purpose? You have to write it here. Second one, that is 1.2, intended audience. Let me enlarge a little more. Yeah, second one is 1.2, intended audience. Audience means who is going to look into this document? So you are preparing this document for someone, right? Who are those? Technical people as well as clients, both will look into this. They are audience. That's great. Next, third one, 1.3, project background. What do you mean by project background? I mean, is it a new one or is it an existing one, or do we have any previous versions? Okay, that's it. Background check, you can say. Okay, purpose of the business requirements. what is the purpose of this business requirements? I mean, as I told you, right? Is it a new one or is it an existing one? You are doing modifications. What is the purpose? You have to mention here. There will be the checkbox. You have to check it out. I will show you that. Next one. Business goals, objectives to be achieved. Yes, of course, we have to write here, because end of the project, what you want to achieve, and what is your goal. I mean, what exactly the project is, what you want to get out from this project. So these are all things you have to mention here. Objectives to be achieved and goals. Next one is, because see, technical people will read all these things. When they read all these things, they will get an idea. Okay, so this is the goal, this is the objective. So now you are designing a Facebook. So at the end of the day, Facebook should be so and so, and it should give so and so result. The technical people in the before only they are understanding. Okay, so we are designing so and so project. So the output should be like this, or this should be the purpose. Then they will easily understand the things. Correct? That's what we are trying to help by this document. That's it. Next one is benefits, rational. Benefits, rational. I mean, who is going to get benefit and what benefit they are going to get. Okay. Of course, by project you'll get some benefit, right? Or what this document you'll get some benefit, right? That you have to mention here. And next one is stakeholders. 1.7. Stakeholders, end users. Who is going to work on this application? Employees or customers? Okay, whomever it is, stakeholders. You have to mention there. Like, let's assume you are designing insurance application. So agents, insurance agents can look into this. Insurance customers can look into this. Okay, like this you can say. Stakeholders. Next one, dependencies on existing systems. Dependencies, like if you say like this is depending on some other requirement, this is depending on some other project. So whatever the modifications you do here, these changes will affect others, because that is depending on something, right? You got my point. So this is how it works. Dependencies on existing system. Next, I mean, you will come to know that if I change this, so something is affecting the other application or not, other requirement or not, or it is depending on something or not. You have to see that. References and assumptions. Any references, any assumptions? Like, if not, what happens? Okay, assumption. Major possibilities of failures. If failure, then what happens? I mean, if it is not working, what happens? So like this, we will discuss. Okay, now, next, requirement scope. In scope and out of scope. In scope means must and should. Okay, I mean, in scope means only must and should. Like what we are going to design, what exactly we want. Okay, that is in scope. Out of scope is what we are not designing now. We'll be designing in the future, like owned requirements. You know, must, should, could, and owned requirements, right? Moscow technique. So in scope is nothing but must and should. Mandatory requirements. Out of scope is not mandatory. We will do it later. Okay, like this. We can implement, we can install these requirements later. That is out of scope. That's it. That's it. So up to here, we have done with high level. So did you find any requirements in the introduction part of requirement scope? No. This high level document explained history. I mean, sorry, I can say it explained to the project high level. So this is what we have to get by the end of the day, and these are the requirements and all these things. Now let's look into detailed description from 3. Detailed means requirements. That's it. Functional requirements. Actor profile specification. Actors. Who are actors? Employee. Like when we talked about leave management system, right? In that, who is an actor? Employee is an actor. Approver is an actor. System is an actor. In the same way, if you look into ATM machine, user, customer is an actor. ATM machine is an actor. Okay, so actors can be human beings or an object which do some action. Okay, that can be a machine or that can be a computer or anything. Actor profile specifications. We have to write their data, the details. Now I will show you actor profile. Look at this actor catalog. Okay, an actor is anything that interfaces with the system. Actors can be people, organizations, other software systems, hardware devices, databases, or network services which do some action. Okay, look at this. Here are some actors: sales representative, customer, APS team, DFS assistant, Symphony. What are all these things? So these all are actors, systems, and people where they communicate, where they work in this process. Okay, you understand what I mean by actor? Actually, this is a different BRD. This is a credit card business requirement document. I'll tell you about it later, but just I want to show you how these actor specifications looks like. Okay, that's it. Right, so you have 13 actors here, 11 actors overall. So each one will be doing something like sales representative, staff taking inbound sales calls for consumer segment in the call centers. Okay, and customers, person who has requested financing through DFS. So that is related to the banking. Okay, you got my point. Okay, we are here. First one, actor profile specification. Next, essential use case diagram. Of course, you know about use case diagram, right? We already talked about it. Actors profiles. Then use case specification is nothing but document. Use case document. As I told you, right? We have to put all these things in functional requirements. I told you we have to draw use case document, use case diagram, blah blah. Okay, diagrams. Okay, fine. Then functional hierarchy, HippoChat hierarchy diagram, then definition report and business rules. That's it. So this all comes under functional requirements. Next is data requirements. Under data requirements, you can see data architecture, data flow diagrams, data class diagrams, okay, and some other data requirements. So we are nowhere concerned with this because we are not a data analyst to gather data requirements. But anyhow, I explained you about data flow diagrams, right? That is enough. Next one is non-functional requirement. Non-functional, you know, right? Performance, security, quality, that's what they are here. Security requirements, authentication or authorization and access controls. Yeah, of course. Security means passwords, firewalls. Authorizations, authentications means firewalls only, right? Passwords, right? Availability requirements. Availability means at what time this application is available. Okay, 24/7 or only 10 hours per day, only 2 hours per day, like this. Usability requirements, system help requirements, like help requirements. So for every application you will find a help option, right? Suppose let's say you are new to Facebook, you don't know how to register, you will find the help option. When you click on that, it will explain you. Okay, right. So performance requirements, speed, how much time it takes to log in, okay, how much time it takes to transfer. Scalability requirements, user scalability, application scalability, I'll tell you all these things. And interface requirements. Interface means user interface, the front end, system requirements. Okay, like this we have different requirements inside of BRD. And some other information also we have, business glossary like APMS update related to project. Revision log. Revision log means how many times it got revised, how many changes happened. Okay, you know log, right? Log file. Log file consists of all the previous historical work what we had done earlier. Okay, it's a revision log. Appendices and approval, some information and approval from the client. This is all about high level and detail level. Let's see one by one. This document, if you read this document, you will get a clear idea. Got it? So they clearly mentioned everything in a theoretical way, Got it? Let's see here. Introduction, document purpose. What you have to write in this? They very clearly mentioned like the purpose of this document is to describe business requirements of an application completely. Already I told you, you just read them. Okay? Document purpose, then intended audience. Let's see audience. The main intended audience for this document are business owners of the proposal system, that is client side people. At the same time, data architects, application architects, technical people, both look into this document audience. And here are the document filling instructions, like what color we have to use, what font we have to use. Okay, so some instructions for business analyst, like while business analyst is going to draw some diagram. Okay, different things. Read it. Okay, instructions. Different documents, different organizations will have their own definitions and definitions. Okay, so don't worry about that. Next, project background. This section describes if these business requirements are a result of any previous meetings, corresponding legislation, etc., like historical. As I told you, right? Existing version or new one, old one or new one, whatever it is. Now, purpose of the business requirements. Let's see. This section describes the purpose of the business requirements. First one is business requirements for major enhancements to an existing application. Okay? Business requirements for, so you have to tick here, you have to check here, so that technical people will understand. So what type of project is this? First one is business requirements for major enhancements to an existing application. Major, so like 90% of the enhancements you will do. That means mostly it looks like a new project only. I mean, because it's the major enhancements, right? Or business requirements for new application development, completely new one, prototype, brand new. Business requirement for replacement application development. Okay, replacement, like completely replace, delete everything and come up with a new one. As it looks, it's like a prototype only, but the base is there. The base will be there. On that, the changes happen. Business requirements for request of proposals. Only small requirements. Request of proposals. Minimum requirements. 20%, 30%. Additional changes, whatever it is. So like this you have to mention. Either it is the major changes or minor changes, or completely new one, or replace with something. Okay. This is how we have to check. Now let's see. Business goals, objectives to be achieved. This section describes the major goals, objectives to be achieved when the implementation of the business requirements. I told you already. Benefits, stakeholders. Stakeholders are the individuals or groups who have vested interest in this project and whose interest needed to be considered throughout the project. This section lists the stakeholders of the application project for these business requirements are documented. Okay? Dependencies on existing systems. This section describes these dependencies between the application for which these business requirements are written and other existing application systems. Blah blah. References, assumptions. Okay. Requirement scope. Look at this. Scope. So these three we are implementing now, and the last one we are not implementing. Let's see. Let me enlarge it and show you. So for scope we use this use case just for understanding. That's it. Okay. So primary loan participant, submit online loan application. So loan application, register as parent in the loan application, register as spouse in the loan application. Okay. So these three things are implemented in our project now, and calculate the loan amount eligibility. That is not. We didn't implement it. We will be implementing later. That is in scope and out of scope. Okay. The same thing in this box. Here you have to write in scope and out of scope. And coming to functional requirements, you know what are the functional requirements, and also you know about actor profile. Actor. This section describes all the actors and their profiles with the context of the business requirements being documented. Just now I had shown you, right? And Actors, what they can do. Who are the actors? Let's say stakeholders. Then what stakeholder can do? Create or read or update or delete. Access controls. Okay, giving access to them. Of course, like manager will have so and so permission, administrator will have so and so permission, like this. Essential use case specifications. Specification is nothing but document. Okay, anyhow we talked about it. And here comes use case document. Look at this, this is in a different format. So we talked about LMS, right? Leave management system, that is in a different format, and this is in a different format. You can see here. Use case ID, use case name, description, actors. So actors were somewhere below, somewhere down in our LMS, correct? But here it is in the beginning. Business rules, basic flow, alternative flows. List of business rules for section 3.6, that is use case differences, mention only the business rule ID, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And basic flow, alternative flow, side by side. Basic flow is like scenarios, okay, and alternative flows, like if you enter wrong password, what happens, okay, like this. Non-functional requirements, also we are writing here precondition, post condition. Precondition, post condition we are put down below, but in our LMS document they were on the top, correct? Extension points. Extension points means what? Like when you look into ATM machine, when you click on savings account, it will ask you different options, right? Whether to cash withdrawal, whether to balance inquiry, whether to fund transfer, correct? Those are known as extension points or whatever. That's it. So this is all about functional. So functional hierarchy diagram. Hierarchy diagram is nothing but hippo chart. We already talked about it, right? Hippo. Hierarchy input, process, output. Then definition report, rules, blah blah. These all will be predefined, so no need to enter anything here. Now coming to data requirements. So this will be taken care by data analyst. So architecture of the project, okay, relationship between the tables, okay, volumes, conversion, data retention and archiving. So don't worry about all these things. Okay, now coming to class or entity. Class is nothing but, let's say here it's a table, okay, like let's say customer table, okay. Description of the table. Customer table consists of customer first name, last name, okay, middle name, customer phone number, customer email address and blah blah. Initial data volume. Initial data volume, I mean what size you are giving for this column, for this table. And annual growth rate. So every year how much you can expect, how much data you are inserting. A simple example I'll tell you. If you look into a customer table, okay, so let's say you are a customer for Walmart, okay, so you are staying in the same location for 10 years, right? So in the beginning, the first year, so you do some revenue, correct? So the data is stored in the database, the store database, like so and so person, so and so customer. By so and so customer, we got so and so revenue in this year, okay? Because you are a regular customer. I mean, you won't go to any other store. You go to only the particular store, and you are a regular customer, okay? And next year, automatically what is happening? You know, the size is increasing. I mean, the data volume is increasing because year by year you are buying more products, more columns are adding, more data is adding, more revenue is generating. That means the column should be added. Not only that, more customers is adding, right? In a customer table, more customers will be coming, okay, more business will be happening. That means how much we can increase the size of the volume of the data, volume of the table, okay. That is what we can say annual data growth, data growth, okay. That's the data growth, how much data it is growing, okay. That's it. And coming to attributes, or nothing but you can say fields, columns, rows, columns. Customer is a table, attributes are column, like name, as I told you, right? Customer first name, customer last name, customer phone number, and description, like this. What is that? What exactly the data consists of? You have to describe it. Okay, this is how you have to write. And entity is also same. Table, description, initial data volume, annual data growth, attributes. Got it? So this is how you have to, and we don't do all these things, don't worry, I just explained you what happens, that's it. Coming to non-functional requirements, of course, we have to look into this. We have security requirements. Security means authentications, like passwords, blah, 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 blah. We have 4 types of authentication transactions. You see that, you read it, okay? Anonymous, pseudonymous, identified, verified. Like I can say, passwords is identified or verified, okay? Like this. When you look into this, you'll understand. You just read it, okay? We have different types of security transactions, authentication. Next. Authorization and access controls. I mean, to whom you are going to give access, whom you are not giving access, correct? So let's see. Actor, who is an actor? Let's say manager, okay? Manager is an actor, and here I can say create, read, update, delete, right? I can say when we look into leave management system, approver is the one who will have a right to give permission, correct? So the permission, that access is given to only manager, not anyone, or manager or system, not other people, correct? Who can apply leave? Any employee from this organization, they can apply leave, correct? So like this, who is an actor, what is the business unit name, and class. I mean, which project, which application, like this, okay? That's it. I mean, which department, this is all comes here. Availability requirements. Availability means, if you look into university websites, sometimes, you know, when there is a semester, when there is a spring, there will be an opening, like you will find a link saying that for new admissions, click on this link. After 2 months or after 1 month, you don't find that admission link, correct? Or if you click on that link, it says that it got expired. You please try after some time, or on the next semester again the link works, correct? I mean, you want to take an admission, right? So availability means at what time this application is available. If you look into Facebook, it's 24/7. If you look into Gmail, it's 24/7. But sometimes when you look into banking applications, they won't be available on Mondays, on Sundays, online banking, or else sometimes they will be having some fixed timing for money transfer, fund transfer, like morning 9 to afternoon 3, like this. Got it? RTGS, NFGS, something like this. Whatever it is, I'm talking about banking side, okay? Forget about it. So, like this, availability, at what time you are available, at what time the application is available, okay? You have to write it here. Is it 24/7 or any other? Mostly it will be 25/7, but some type of like admissions or banking applications you will find only on a particular time. That's it, okay? Next, usability requirements. So usability, how effectively the user can use it, okay? How user friendly it is, that's it. System help requirements. Help, look at this. Field level help, screen level help. For example, you brought a new laptop, okay? You turned it on. You don't know how to do, what to do, what's going on. There will be a help option, right? You go to the help option, they'll give you one manual. You look into that, you click on the help option, and you can read it, and you can, according to that, you can follow. So this help can be at any level. It's a field level, screen level. Screen level means user interface level. Help printing options. Suppose you want to take a printout, okay? So you connect your printer, you don't know how to take a printout, okay? So help options like this. Of course, when you click on the print, you will get all the options, right? Operations manual, offline, online and offline, both will be there. Online means, for example, you want to you are looking into some site, automatically a pop-up will come saying that, hey, how can we help us? How can we help you? I mean, some university people or some organization people, they will come and ask you, how can we help you? Correct? The pop-up is also help, but people are there ready to help you out there, okay? That's it. Any other, please describe. Yes. Then coming to performance. You can see here use case name, business function name, transaction description, performance requirements, and response time in seconds or minutes. How much time? It opens 1 second, 1 minute, right? That's it. scalability, usability, interface, you read them. And this is important. Revision log. Revision log. How many times it got revised? No, it has not revised. In this example, it is not revised. Otherwise, it will be like this: 1.1, 1.2, sorry, 0.1, 0.2. So this change, these are the changes happened, and this is one reviewed by. This is how it works. Okay. Date and version, change reference, reviewed by, and then approval. Approval, very important. Once you design this document, you have to send to client. Client will look into this document. If client is not satisfied, again he or she will ask you to make the changes. Once the changes are made, if everything is done, then only client is going to approve this document. Let's see here, prepared by, author name, signature, approved by. So you are an author, okay? You enter your name, your signature, your digital signature, and date, and approved by client, whomever the person is, the stakeholder or SME, or okay, client side product owner who is responsible for this project. The fellow will accept it. That's it. This is all about business requirement document. Take any document, you find all the same, but the templates are different. Sometimes you find different templates, different structures, like I have shown you here, right? This is one different. This is one more type of. I mean, DRD only, but it has very good templates, flow diagrams, and all these things I mentioned here. I will tell you about it tomorrow. Okay. I'll send you these two documents now, both the documents. You look into them. If you have any doubts, you can ask me tomorrow. And whatever the assignment, I think I gave you a couple of questions, right? Around 23 questions. Did I forward it or not? If not, I will forward you today now. So start working on that, so that if you get any doubts, you can continue. Okay? It's enough for today. I don't want to put more pressure on you.